Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The British Army is being readied to help ease fuel supply problems after a fourth day of long queues and pump closures. Up to 150 military tanker drivers will prepare to deliver to forecourts which have run dry because of panic buying. There were ugly scenes due to the surge to buy fuel. Here, a fight breaking out in London as people rushed to stock up on petrol. The surge in demand has come due to fears that a driver shortage would hit fuel supply, even though there is more than enough at refineries. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps has admitted that Brexit has been a factor, despite his previous claims that the UK's exit from the EU had helped the country adjust to supply chain problems. Greta Thunberg has mocked world leaders, saying they were all talk, no action, as she took to the podium ahead of climate talks in Italy this week.
Build back better, blah, blah, blah. Green economy, blah, blah, blah.
Thousands of young people, including Thunberg, will converge on Milan this week, with some 400 from around 190 countries set to meet policymakers, either remotely or in person.
Net zero, blah, blah, blah. Climate neutral. Blah, blah, blah.
Their proposals will then be vetted by climate and energy ministers who are gathering at the same venue in Italy's financial centre for their pre-COP26 meeting later in the week.
We expect it to be like any other meeting.
North Korea has fired a short-range missile towards the sea off its east coast. That's according to South Korea's military. The test happened as North Korea's ambassador said at the UN that no one could deny Pyongyang's right to self-defense and to test weapons. Earlier this month, Pyongyang test-fired both ballistic and cruise missiles. But several days ago, North Korea had also expressed willingness to engage in talks with the South. The former president of Georgia has said he will fly home on the day of local elections to help, in his words, save the country. Mikhail Saakashvili, who is now based in Ukraine, called for post-election street protests. He said he plans to return despite facing imprisonment on charges he says are politically motivated. A Georgian court sentenced him in absentia to 6 years in prison for abuse of power in 2018. Spain's government has classified the island of La Palma, which has been struck by a volcanic eruption, as a disaster zone. The move means it will trigger emergency subsidies and other support measures. The government announced a first package of €10.5 million. Lava has been slowly flowing down the volcano's western flank towards the sea, destroying almost 600 houses, as well as churches and banana plantations on the island. Hundreds of people in coastal villages remain hunkered down in anticipation of lava emitted in previous days reaching the sea and releasing toxic gases. 4 people have been seriously hurt in an explosion and fire in a central residential area of the Swedish city of Gothenburg. Swedish TV showed footage of smoke emerging from the windows, as well as emergency services working at the scene. The immediate cause of the blast and blaze is unclear. Thai volunteers on paramotors are flying into flood-affected areas in central Thailand to drop off supplies to residents. A team of around 7 to 8 paramotorists have been flying around Sukhothai province, dropping food for local residents. Flooding triggered by a tropical storm has affected around 59,000 families across central and northern Thailand. The team say they will continue making trips to other affected areas across Sukhothai to help feed residents cut off by the flooding. And finally, turtles on a runway will probably never rival snakes on a plane, but one reptile has made headlines after delaying flights at Japan's second busiest airport. The turtle, which weighs just over 2 kilograms, was seen moving slowly along the tarmac at Narita International Airport near Tokyo, prompting a pilot preparing for takeoff to contact air traffic control. Staff removed the animal with a net and checked the 4,000-meter runway for any other foreign objects, causing a 15-minute delay to 5 flights. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.